Please permit me to say this in Yoruba. I said, when you do me, they can reshare me Lola. Can drop a letter.
Hey pluggers, welcome back to another episode of PluggIN, a safe space for healing, growth, and real conversations. Today's episode is sponsored by BSB Studios and co-sponsored by Toa Couture. You can check them on Instagram at BSB Studios and on Instagram at Toa Couture. Toa Couture is a fashion brand and they made today's outfit. Today's topic is one that I really love so much, and I promise you that I brought the best person that I know can actually give us our own insight on this topic. Also, do not forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment, and also follow us on Instagram at @PluggIN. Now, breathe in and out, and let's get right into today's episode. Welcome back to today's episode. I have my big sister here, my Atwola, like I like to call her. She's our guest for today, and I want you to introduce yourself to my dearest vloggers.
Hello, viewers. My name is Christiana Aderonke Owoseni. I'm a software developer, and I've been doing that for over 6 years.
Alright, that's very, very good. She's not that you're a mommy of two.
Alright. I'm a mother to 2 lovely children, a boy and a girl.
Thank you very much. How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm fine. Good.
I mean, we have like special guests in the background. Should I tell them? They are here to support us. Thank you very much. Once again, thanks so much for coming and PluggIN podcast. I'm really, really grateful. Today, I want to speak about the 9 to 5 life. How does it shape? Okay, let me say, if I get to count how many years you've been in 9 to 5 now, how many years would you be?
Wow, 9 to 5. Officially, started 2016.
Wow.
Yeah, so that means we have 9 years now.
That's almost a decade.
Yes, of 9 to 5.
That's very, very good. So, in the last 9 years of 9 to 5 that you've been in the corporate world, what is one thing that has happened one incident that has happened that you've built lessons on by and that's like, it has been working for you?
Oh, okay. I would start from, before I even got married.
Okay.
Yeah, and thankfully, the host also, at least, had experienced some of those early moments with me as well. And one of those things that helped me to sustain or survive the 9 to 5, work was this early wake up and at least to the best of my ability, being able to plan my day. So I plan my day from the previous day so that I can set out early. Imagine staying at Isolo Adams of Lagos and you have to report to Aja.
Monday to Friday.
Yeah, by hand. So that was how I started my journey. And one thing that just helped is being able to plan ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So, now, why do you think that younger generations, they don't like to do 9 to 5? Do you think it takes away freedom or creativity? What would you say that is the reason why you think most younger generations now, they don't want to do 9 to 5? They don't even want it at all.
Well, I'll say for me, it's because today's generation wants a quick money, less stress, and they don't want to go through the grinding or the incubating period, so to say. We just want to have it. You just want to wake up one morning and you have 1 miracle 5 million naira, or if a 5 million naira to them now it's much small change. We talk about 500 million, suddenly in the account, and to me that's one of the key reasons why people are lazy to do a 9 to 5. And if I must say or explain it, 9 to 5 here doesn't really mean you working in an office, 9 to 5. You could be self-employed, gainfully self-employed, but you're doing a 9 to 5. Now what the host is doing today it's actually something 9 to 5. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's pick something from what you said now. You said that the younger generations want quick money and they want that incubating period, that formative period. But let's take it back because I feel like the younger generation, I think what kind of split into two. They are the ones that know they are ones that know what they want, and there are some that they don't want to work for it. They just want it. What would you say about those ones that it's not like they don't want to work, but they just want to do their own personal stuff. You know, there are self-care developers like you that they try to just do freelance work. They want to work from home. And also for younger generations, you will agree with me that younger generations, because I've seen people say that younger generations are not like the older generations that can take things from some sort of bosses. They would immediately talk about it. I don't know how to explain it, but some things that they might say to you now and then. Alright, Shannon. But the younger generation will tell you that, oh guy, fuck up. I'm not your slave. I'm not coming here to buy food for you. So, would you say that younger generations have like a sort of, should I say, confidence to speak up for themselves than the millennials? And for people that want to do like personal stuff, because I have people that they are into software development, people want to work in an office, they talk about the Lagos lifestyle of waking up earlier. The way it can be so crazy sometimes. So those kind of people, what would you say about it?
Alright, so I'll start from where you stop. For those who don't want to be submissive to a boss, but right, they know what they want and they're already doing it. Now, I would say there's a difference between being bold, being outspoken, and at the same time, you wanting to submit yourself to tutelage or mentorship. I believe that anything you want to do in life and you really want to or excel in it, right? You need a mentor. Be it soft skills or hard skills. Even if you want to learn the vocation, you need a mentor.
Yes.
And you don't expect that all times your mentor will tell you things that are palatable.
Yeah.
And so taking that now to the workspace. So if the reason of doing a corporate 8 to 5, reasoning to the office is because you don't want someone to shout at you or you don't want this. But you know that even you have to say first before you can lead.
Yes, that's true.
And so to say, those I'll say in this generation will say, oh, polite wisdom. It's part of training. But the thing is, the generation, like the Gen Z now, their tolerance level to such things is so low. And one thing you hear is that, oh, you said this and I'm depressed and this and that. But it shouldn't stop you from going for what you want. And for people who are, you just want to be on your own, do things by yourself at the comfort of your home. Do you know that indirectly you're also doing an 8 to 5 or a 9 to 5 work?
Yes.
Even though you're not reporting.
But they're doing more of 24/7 than even 9 to 5.
Than the 9 to 5. Because you have objectives, you have targets. A client has given you the work to do and you need to, deliver maybe within certain hour or, number of days and you're actually doing, and you even have extended hours. So, to those people, I'll still categorize them as people under a 9 to 5 or 8 to 5. But we have some people just lounging, like you just want to wake up and you just miracle alert. And some people will call you, oh, I want a miracle alert. It need laziness. And be it food, we could have some here that are not trained in the forwards of an institution, but they are doing stuff. That vocation, that trade you come to, the fashion trade, it could be anything, baking skills that you're obtaining. It's actually an 8 to 5 job. I have people even selling gadgets as schedule, right? It's 8 to 5 because when you see the dedication and everything they put into this to make ends meet, it's actually 9 to 5. So directly or indirectly, right? We all are into 9 to 5. It's just that we are viewing from different perspectives.
Yes. Yeah. That's good. Thank you very much. So, I think you even answered one of the questions I was going to ask. So, what is one misconception that you think people have about 9 to 5?
Oh, okay. One of the misconception, in fact, you said it at the beginning, is fear of being boss. Yeah, that's the main thing. Fear of being boss. We all want to live an independent life. We all believe we can run the show all by yourself or all by ourselves without being supervised, and that's good and independent. I just want to do things at my own convenience. But when you're in a corporate 9 to 5, you are working to achieve your set objective, which is in line with your organization set objective. You need somebody to either monthly check, quarterly check, just to ensure that you're still within, you're working towards the goal and you're within the set track. So it's one of those things, very difficult to be, to be boss, right? People are shying away from that. And the other thing now is, the city where we live, the traffic, the stress. This generation will say, oh no, I can't go. That stress is even, it's affecting their mental health. And truly, if you look at it, if you're not really determined to, get those things you want or achieve those personal things, your objectives, your goals yourself, right? Those things are enough to discourage you. Yeah. You can imagine, was it not this week, right? A journey of max of 1 hour, some to 2 hours, 30 minutes. And I was on the spot for almost 1 hour, just going back. It's enough to discourage some people to say, oh no, I can't do a corporate 9 to 5 job. And you're also limited because indirectly, if the organization plan, you use 9 to 5 at the corporate place. Yes. That's the most active hours of the day. You're using it for someone and upping that person to build his or empire. When you think deep and deep down, you think, I just I can't deal with this. But I would say the long and short, it's an interesting 9 to 5 because you get to meet people, you understand people, you meet people with different characters, you know how to manage people. Even if you're not a boss, you are reporting to someone. Your boss is managing, you're also managing your boss because there's something like the workspace now and it's called emotional intelligence. Everybody has to be emotional intelligent. You as a subordinate and the person being your superior. And since the HR department had set in this course for everybody in the workspace, it's making the workspace a more comfortable place, and I believe that would even draw more people to the 9 to 5.
Thank you very much. So, it's something that I want to quickly point out before we go into another part of the question that I have. Going back to still the younger generation. As the younger generation and 9 to 5, you've had a lot of backlash. But would you agree that there are some things that have been done to some people that I have someone that worked in 9 to 5, diligent worker, things very well. Somebody did not pay her, I think about 3 months. And nothing really got to her because it's one thing to be tired. It's one thing to watch it and nobody's stressing you. But it's another thing for you to be giving your all, like that kind of push, like call you in the middle of the night or in the evening. Can you quickly work on this design? Can you finish it up? And those things now, let's say, affect the younger people because there's something that the younger generation has. They don't believe that because it happened to you, it will happen to them. Once that happened to you, they pick up your lesson and be like, it cannot happen to me. You only you that it happened to me, I went to my experience. So now, for those kind of people but for me, I think because I was close to the person, I could understand the pain that the person was going through, going to the work every day, coming back, and they're like, sorry, we want to fold up, and we would not be able to like pay you. And that kind of job that, this kind of job that they stress you, like, only boy, but you just want to deliver because they're trying to give your all to it. What would you say to those kind of people? Not even the younger ones, I mean the bosses. I've had people that had issues with phone calls because of because you know that they already used to when the person calls, the way you would be calling, you will be trembling on the phone. So that person used for a while had issues with, yeah, she does not like call. She's like, just text me. Because the anxiety of I don't know what person is going to see because of someone. So as much as there's the younger generation aspect, yeah, check the bosses now. What would you say to those bosses? Or what would you say to the younger generation? Because you said something now that at the end of the day it's about you and about what you want to achieve. So what would you say to the younger generation and even to the bosses that even if all of these things are happening, what would you say to them?
Oh, okay. It's a deep question, but I would say that I've never reported to a main boss, all right? But
Have you had people that go through this kind of things before? Or have you had people experience about
okay,
this kind
so
of thing?
yeah, I've had people who would experience that. In fact, my own that sister experienced that with one of our bosses, and what comes to play and when we have those conversations is one, you know that that environment is getting toxic for you. You're good at what you do.
Yes.
Trust your skills and start looking for an
Okay.
alternative. But while you're still looking for an alternative, because that job is still dropping maybe an urgent thing for you, and we know the kind of economy we have. You cannot just
Opt out.
yeah, because who will foot your bills? So all of those things we kept on encouraging and then advising on how to manage the extreme boss. Now, I can't say that it's all the boss's fault at all times because we are all human and we have all tendencies to, we rub on each other's shoulders and things like that. So we try to identify, okay, probably you too, you're dropping the balls at this point. Try and get better. And one thing again is with prayers, right? It changes everything. And constantly doing that over time and, when the opportunity came, she moved. But one thing I want to say out there, the example you first mentioned was in terms of pay, is that be it millennium, be it the Gen Zs, when you're looking out for a job, right? Do your research well before you sign the contract that, I'm ready to work with you. Yes, and now the internet is so loaded that you can easily get information around the pay structure of an organization and how frequent they pay. Because if, for example, the company do default to payments, you will see one or two things online that would,
I'll give you that.
yes, they'll give you that hint to say, oh, this is not it. This is not it. Then another thing is discuss with people within your space. When I mean space now, your profession, your domain, have discussions with them because you don't know, probably the next person beside you had an experience with that organization in terms of pay. And before you're like, no, they would not even believe that. I just got a mail from them for an interview or this. So my dear sister, please drop it. Communication in your community, your workspace community. Develop that connection and you definitely get information about how things run in the corporate. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So now, let me ask you that, have you ever had a situation whereby you lost yourself into work that, it gets to some point if you're not careful, if you just lost yourself into what you're doing, and instead of it to become interesting, now stress is disturbing us, it's not stress. No, we know that there's stress before, but when something is you're supposed to enjoy doing something. Now you're just doing it because you're doing it like a chore. Like let me just do it. The joy of doing it is not there. So have you ever had that kind of situation before?
Eh, I once had it. It was, yeah, I once had it, but I didn't allow it to get to me so much that it's now reflecting on my journey because we are all, we are all human. It got to me to the level that I cried at work. And that was at my first place of work, not where I am currently. I cried at work and it was like as if all my efforts, all my extras were, rub up on me and like, girl, you're not doing anything. I felt it to my, and one thing, there, I just started browsing and like, please doing it. Please permit me to say this to you, but I said, when you do me, they can share me Lola, can drop a letter, it got to that point. But still, that was my wish. Like I should drop letter tomorrow if I'm doing a job. But my sister, there was no job the next day. So I still had to continue with what I was doing. But the default love I have for what I was doing, overshadowed that and I just kept on pushing and doing that which I know I'm good at. And months after, that came in and I moved. But even at that, right, I didn't allow it affect my relationship with anyone, any of the persons there. Because if you know you're planning to exit or leave a certain workspace, right, do not burn the bridges. Because you don't know where you will meet again. You could believe that the world ends there. You won't know, maybe the next place you're going, one of them is probably a board member or knows somebody at the top, you don't just burn the bridge. Yeah. So you maintain that relationship. But what we give you or keep you moving is if you love what you're doing by default. And loving that means that come rain, come shine, come temptation, I'll pull through. Looking at me, I'm in a field which in quotes is mostly male, dominated profession. There are lots of, challenges and the likes. Combining the work with home, it's a whole lot. I had my coursemate that were in school and said, for them, they know that they don't use this to feed themselves, it's just to end the certificate because it's time consuming, it's brain demanding, it's mind demanding, it's everything. It will use your total being. But because of that love and that joy, I'll put through. And like I said, connect yourself with the right set of people. Even if when you want to treat your like that, it's the same thing. Ensure that you're somebody that loves what you're doing and will push you to achieve more. So that when those temptations come, because I won't tell you that it won't come, it will come. The frustrations will come. The frustration will come from those things, and those people at that time will all keep jack up and then get better from them. Get better. Yeah, thanks.
Now, let me go back to this and say that I want you to give us should I say the story of an incident that happened at work. You don't have to mention some details, but the story that happened at work that taught you something you'll never forget. It's not true that there are some things that would happen in your life that you just picked up that lesson like I'm never going to let it go and you are building on it.
Okay, so may I ask positive or negative? Because
both. It was
okay. Okay. Well, let me start with the one that actually got me right. So my marriage then my first child she was less than 1 and Yeah. My office then happens to be on the mainland, but we consult for organizations on the island. And I had to do a meeting at the office that on the mainland. Fast forward, lo and behold, I closed late that day. And it was when a construction, Ikeja, there were a lot of construction happening at Ikeja that time, so the traffic was crazy. As I got to Ikeja on the bridge, I felt that a liquid spilled into my bag, right? Because we all were struggling to get the bus. But at that spot was not a good spot for me to bring out my system to even check to what extent or safeguard it. With one mind, I just, continued the journey. So when I got to a little bit after, so I through Guinness side, when I got to Guinness side, I found a safe place. And I spoke with the woman and then tried to check my bag, got a polythene bag, just, I did the first aid, right, to clean. So I noticed that, the water was not really much on it. Then I continued my journey. I had a baby at the crèche. All of this, around 2 8, I haven't gotten there. So I got to the crèche around past 8, picked my baby. Immediately I got to, right, I just opened the laptop, trial cable and things like that. And immediately I sent a message to the officer, this had happened to the gadget and I'll be coming back the next morning because I was to go back to the island the next day. But I said, no, I'll go back to the office so that they could, the person in charge of our job would do his physical check and confirm, okay. Lo and behold, I go back to the office, we do the check. The system was still on, it was fine. I go back and the guy told me, we need to take this to Apple Store. I said, okay, no problem, you can. But I said, one of the heirs needs to sign it off. I said, no problem. The next thing I was summoned that I should explain what happened. And I explained what happened. And the next thing I got from the person was, I can't believe it. Assuming you told me that you were going home and you fell into the gutter or you're this, I would believe, but this, I felt so bad. So, and the next I was like, get me the HR manager. And the HR manager came. She said, sir, I saw her. She actually left the office late. And that she offered to give me a ride, but because we're going the opposite direction, so I had to find my way there. Here, she could have found like this, and that access was, And what touched me was, I gave birth to my child 2 years. I had my medical history with me. You're not telling me that you would have preferred I had fallen into a ditch because of a laptop and, it really got to me. I was like, with all this junk around, I don't mainland with a baby less than 1 in the crèche and everything. I actually lost it that day. I just went back to my text and I was tearing. And that was what I said. I told my brother that, should we be curious? And then, drop this. But one thing I learned there is that, fine, it pained me to my marriage. I didn't allow that. The next day I wasn't rude to the man. He's my boss. My objective and intent, he would have praised me. But fine, it could be starting from the business point of view. The long and short, right? He then told me that, I have to pay for the repair, that it will be 50-50. That is, the company will pay a certain percentage. I said, okay, no problem. That they should take it from my next salary. I can't give cash. So that it will be documented that there was a deduction for that reason, And that was the, so when the opportunity came and had to move, it was a long story for another day. Like, I never knew that my contribution to the organization was that measured or quantified, because it was like, you can't go, you can't do this and do that. At that point, I had to let the MD know that, oh, it seems I've overstayed my welcome here. Yeah, because if I'd, with all my dedication and sacrifice and everything, something of this nature happened. And the reaction I'm getting is assuming it was, that means it was as if, so he said if it was to be an, and I went to meet him that, okay, I dropped a resignation letter for more than a month and you didn't call me. You didn't say you didn't have any conversation with me that, is it that you've been expecting me to, and it was like, oh, he's so sorry that he actually knew that what probably the statement he made some months ago when, but you know, as a boss, sometimes they find it difficult to come down and apologize. But at that moment, he just said this in Yoruba, I'm sure that he actually knew that he has offended me, and there's no amount of conversation he would have with me that would want to make me reconsider. And that's why he just pushed it. When he got to his state, he pushed it to the end and I let the end handle it. I was like, okay. What got to me at that moment was, even upon exit, he still realized that, oh, he wasn't meant to go that far. And the lesson I got there, I think, at least me, I wasn't the boss, I was reporting to a whole lot of people. But the thing is, the lesson I learned there is, as much as you have the interest of the business at mind as a boss or as a leader, right, do not overrule the place of emotion, the place of empathy. Because I feel at that moment, that was what my vendor missed. And you know, that single action was a trigger and a catalyst for me to intensify my job search.
Yes. Very right. So I think one thing that we should pick from what you said is that you know when to pick up your bag and say, it's time for me to leave this place. And you know when it is time for you to say that, okay, I'm not going to allow you to get to me. I'm going to do my work, but I'm going to keep my peace in mind, even at that. I want to ask you something now. When it comes to 9 to 5 and motherhood, how are you able to merge it up? Shortly.
Oh, it's a good question.
Because I know that she doesn't have help. At the time that I know. So I don't know how you merge it up. I don't know. And you're a present mother, at least from what I know. So how do you do it?
Oh, thank God that the person asking the question happened to be there when I was gathering my skills and building potentials in terms of managing this or merging the two. Okay, so when I started my 9 to 5, I wasn't married. I was staying with my sister who was married with kids, stays on the mainland, work on the island. Her husband too, was working at the same time. And so I drew a lot of lessons from her, right? Her preps. So for the next day, we'd have prepped whatever the children would eat or take to school the following day, the night before. Even if it's yam, I learned so much. We peel the yam, just put in the pot. There's a lot of money, doing all those prep ahead, up to their clothing. We do arrange it a night before, and up to the water that we used to bathe. We boil the previous night and then pour in a much water flask. So she invested more in flasks, just to retain the heat. Yes, and So I drew a lot of lessons from my sister, and when I started my own journey, motherhood and work, it certainly.
Did you say it maybe shook you a bit?
And I'll say it didn't shake me because I was involved with my sister. I don't leave out to do all of those things. I think I was also doing 9 to 5 then. So when I get back from work,
It's not like, so with this is that when you started having children, or when you had your children, you felt like you just continued what you were doing.
Yeah, I continued what I was doing, and with a supportive husband, it was as if, but the only thing there was, I do pick my baby late. She's always the first to get to the crèche,
and the last
to leave. And one other thing that I helped is when Anne was wanting to choose our home as in the location, right? I'm like, okay, please, can we choose a place that will not be too far from our support systems? I mean, maybe my aunt or my mom, because there was one of those nights, due to the nature of my job, there was an issue with an application, and I had to stay on the island late. I was on the island till around 10:30 to 11 that night. My daughter was still less than 1, but I had to call my mom. My mom stays in the next community to hers, that she should please go to the crèche as I safe to go pick up. So imagine I don't have my support system that is that close to me. One, the pressure, I won't be able to focus on what I was doing there. And one thing that also helped is, even when you, as a mother, you still want to, excel in the workspace. When you want to choose a crèche for your child, choose one which your spirit is in tune with, and you are sure that your child is in a safe hands, because we hear a whole lot. So I give kudos to the caregiver and the proprietress right there. They did all their best to ensure that she was comfortable all through, at least till I come pick up. And one thing also, now I have my second, which is just for one, is that I know the kind of work I'm doing, the demands and the likes, and before I got into marriage, these were the discussions I had with my husband, like, okay, spacing. So the 7 years spacing between my first and, or 6 years, between my first and my baby, actually intentional. It's intentional because of my work and his work. So that we don't give birth to children, and at the end of the day, we say we don't really have time for them, and things like that. And one thing I have to also help is that, as much as I've already said what my work demands, I build that connection with my child's teacher. Be it the caregiver, be it the teacher, I build
everybody that's around.
Yeah, I build that relationship so that if anything is going wrong, it's easy for them to flag it with me. And if I notice anything either, I could pick up my call at 9 p.m. to say, oh, madam, please, I noticed this, I noticed this. And, we collaborate and ensure we build a total child.
Now, let's look at the last question. What would you say that, what would you say your child has taught you, or your children has taught you that you brought into the workspace? Maybe like a lesson that you learned from them.
One thing is patience.
Patience.
Patience. It's patient. You could imagine me back from work when she was still in nursery. She couldn't do her home fun herself. You had to hold, guide, you're tracing that you're
really tired. And so when
you're already exhausted from the Lagos traffic and things like that. Get to the house, you want to fix dinner.
Get to sleep, you want to sleep.
And you're still holding his head ahead.
And she's still even doing tantrums.
Or you just there. I'm tired. I want to sleep. I was like,
so you brought that into work.
Yeah, and even till now that she's outgrown of it, there's still something, early morning rush, do this, do that, and you're like, I want to sleep, or dragging her feet to do stuff. But one thing you just do is that, especially Amy Mobi, I can't throw that out. Yeah, so that patience and yes, I helped me and go.
So what would you say to I want you to say something to my pluggers about joy and purpose in the corporate world? Just very short, just in life.
Joy and purpose in corporate world. To me, they are interwoven. Why? Is that your purpose drew you to that corporate thing. And if it's my purpose, and then I love it. If it's my purpose, I'm joyful in doing it. So that's why I said to me, it's interwoven. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Really, I enjoyed this conversation. I want you to say something to the pluggers before we round up.
Dear pluggers, thank you for your time today, and stay tuned and share, like, post.
Thank you very much. I'm sure that you enjoyed today's episodes just like I enjoyed. Share this with all of your 95 friends, those that work in the corporate world, and even those that are not even working in the corporate world. One thing I need you to understand is, at the end of the day, it is about you, the decision that you make. It's not about the person. Don't allow anybody to steal your joy or even your purpose. Until the next time I'm going to see you again, stay plugged in, subscribe, like, share, and comment. See you.